You talking too loud. All right. Thank you, everybody, for making the live stream. Give me a second here to get caught up. All right, running maybe about 60 seconds behind schedule. So forgive me for not being ready. For not being ready at exactly 10 o'clock. So it's 10:01. So we're gonna go ahead and get started with this live stream. Thank you guys for making it. My name is Tamani Imwandani. I'm the author of the new book, Black Gold Devalued, and a contributing member. Sorry, my fan is not cooperating with me. A contributing member of the Black Gold movement. And our ultimate goal is to create a counter system, a new system for black people in this country, whereby we are treated with respect, treated with dignity, and we are allowed to live our lives as we see fit, and of course take full advantage of everything America has to offer and everything that we've helped to build since we've been here. We've been talking about the past 3 live broadcasts. We've been talking about the importance of having a Black Wall Street, meaning having a community that we can both own and control to ensure that the many things that have affected and are affecting black people in this country are no longer issues in our lives. By having a community that we both own and control, we are able to better dictate the kind of lives we lead and the kind of advantages we can exploit and take advantage of, and the kind of future that we can have. So the last week we talked about the importance of economics in owning and controlling our own communities and our plans to make those things happen. Very concrete, very methodical, very practical, and very, very, very doable. So if you haven't already seen that stream, please go to our Facebook page or our YouTube channel or our Periscope channel. Type in the keywords Black Gold Devalued on YouTube and Facebook, and Black Gold Rising for Periscope. Excuse me. We're in the process of making sure that all of our platforms have the same keyword title, which will probably be Black Gold Nation, and we're working on that right now. But as of today, if you want to find us on Periscope, it's Black Gold Rising, and on the other platforms is Black Gold Devalued, because that's the book. And lastly, there was something else I wanted to say. Oh, last week was economics as relates to owning and controlling our community via the rebuilding or revisiting of Black Wall Street. The week before that was protection, probably the most important reason why we need to have our own communities that we can both own and control. The other 2 reasons, and this week we're going to talk about the third one, which is education. And the last primary reason, not that there are not several others, because there are several reasons why we need to have ownership and control of our own communities. And the last one is but I'm just dealing with top 4, and the last one is Black excellence, being able to take advantage of the excellence, the expertise, the intellect of Black people, Black children. As of right now, every Black person in this country has failed the current generation of young people coming out of college because we've given them no option but to take that black excellence back to the very system that's exploiting and killing us. That's working to continually make us a second-class group in this country. So because we haven't done all that we can do, all that we should do to ensure that they have a choice between Black Wall Street and White Wall Street, Black Exxon and White Exxon, if you will, Black Silicon Valley and White Silicon Valley, because we have not given them the choice to make that decision. They can only take their expertise to a system that's proven itself to be anti-us. So having our own communities that we own and control, and of course the industries that we are actively getting involved in, we'll be able to give our children that option. So that's the fourth reason, Black excellence, keeping and maintaining that. So today, as relates to the importance of having a community that we, again, both own and control, the third reason would be education. And education is a huge one. Most of the issues that we have in our communities are directly attributed to our education. And that education is twofold. It's both the education from the system that has been set up in America to educate people, not just the black people, but people in general. And there's also an education that we don't get from this system, which is what it means to be black in America. Our history that we're not taught here in America, the history that we have before we got to America, the things we've accomplished before slavery, and of course the reality of being black, not only in America, but in the world. So education is a very, very, very big one, and we'll never be able to fully take advantage of everything that we bring to the table as a people if we're not properly educated. And it doesn't matter what kind of program exists today. And there are several good programs and school systems that exist today whose primary purpose is to better educate black children so that they can go to college, get a job, and be productive. That's good, but that's not enough, because again, once we give them that good solid education and they go to college, get a degree, they take that expertise back to a system that's anti-us, that's exploiting us. So ultimately what we need to do with our education system is again give our children the opportunity to plug into something that they can not only continue to build and make bigger, better, stronger, but that they can have an ownership stake in. So ultimately we want to create a system, a counter system, a counter culture, if you will, that's the complete exact opposite of the American system, which is primarily based on individualism, looking out for yourself, taking care of yourself, whereas our system is going to be based on the group, taking care of the group, looking out for the group, of course, of which you are a part of, the group. So education is twofold. The first one is, it's twofold in the traditional education of reading, writing, and arithmetic, and also the education of being black in America. So one of the things that we'll be able to via our own education system is remove that precious commodity of black and brown bodies as much as possible from the current education system, because that will take our kids immediately out of the school to prison pipeline. The education system as it currently exists right now in America is not only miseducating our children, not preparing them properly for life as an adult, not giving them everything they need to be a better productive citizen, but it's also putting them on a track to incarceration. If you have not seen the documentary The 13th, I strongly urge you to watch it. If you haven't seen the documentary about Kalief Browder, I strongly urge you to watch it. Both of these are on Netflix. If you don't have Netflix, try and get with a friend who does. These two documentaries, and there are several, but these two will give you a wonderful understanding of the education system and how it's tied to the penal system. So the system in America is not set up to educate not just black children equally, but children across the board. There's so many issues that this system has that it's hurting children across the board. And of course, our children are hurt a bit more because of the color of their skin and the very real school to prison pipeline. So, but by us having our own education system, we'll be able to immediately remove, or as soon as possible, remove our kids from this system that's proven itself to be anti-black. And by doing so, we'll be able to not only educate our kids properly, but we remove them from that immediate threat of going to jail and prison. So once we are able to do that, then we can look at the dynamics of both educating our children properly to be productive, skilled citizens in this country, be it with the black nation or outside the black nation, but we also educate them properly as to what it means to be black in America. And if we do a good job, then it will be a no-brainer as to where the kids will want to place their time, energy, and talent as far as life after college. If we do a good job of educating them properly as they grow up, then they'll automatically bring all of that expertise and knowledge and understanding back to the black nation, because the black nation raised them. And we're not saying that we want to create a counter system or a counterculture because we are anti anybody else. We want to do that because we are pro-black. We're pro our children, pro our women, pro our elders, pro our community. And by doing this, by creating a counterculture that goes against what's currently happening, we can not only change our children, change our teens, change ourselves, change our community, but we also can change America. Our ancestors, our great grandparents, those that came before us, great grandparents, grandparents, they built this system. They laid the groundwork and the foundation for America to be what it is. So because we have already given blood, sweat, and tears to making America what it is, I believe that we should do what we need to do to create a system for ourselves within this country, because this is where we are. We're not anywhere else. This is where we are. And then by doing so, we remove black people from the many threats that are constantly putting their lives in jeopardy, and we make them better citizens for our own purpose, which of course will ultimately make the country better for everyone. And for those that are not changed or want to be a part of making things better, then they can go elsewhere or do something else. But as we work to make ourselves better, we will most certainly make the communities that we are a part of, the cities that we're a part of, we'll make those better as well, because we'll bring a new energy, a new understanding, a new presence, a new person, a new individual to the system that's going to change several things. So we will be able to give our children not only a good basic fundamental education, but we'll be able to give them things that they currently cannot get or are not getting in the current system. For example, it's been proven time and time again that music works wonders for the young mind. We will be able to bring that back to our education system because we understand the importance of music. Currently, the education system, as it relates to the inner city systems, the poorest of systems, that's the ones I'm dealing with. I'm not dealing with the systems where the community that's attached to that system has money, because of course if that school system is attached to a community with money, then those kids get a better education. I'm referring to those that are not getting it. And again, the large majority of those persons are black and brown children. So we'll be able to bring expertise and knowledge and understanding in the areas of STEM, which is science, technology, I think engineering and math. I may be incorrect on that, but we'll be able to bring that technical understanding of a world that's becoming highly technical to our system that's going to better prepare our kids moving forward. So as we bring more people with expertise and understanding across the board, because our motivation will not be based on making a dollar. It will not be based on politics. It won't be based on a contract. Our system is based on making the black child everything that he or she can and should be moving forward. So by doing that, by bringing like-minded persons to the education system, we'll be able to create a whole new existence as it relates to education for our children. As I've said before, I meet people almost on a daily basis who have a different understanding of life in America as a black person. People who are educated, are skilled, have an understanding of certain things that other people do not, that we'll be able to give our children. For example, earlier this week, I met a young man who is, he works for NASA. He's a PhD. He designs living systems for astronauts. Told him about the book, told him about the movement, told him what I'm working on, told him about the redevelopment or the redesigning of a new education system for black children in this country. And he was extremely excited because he understands that science is not only where it should be as it relates to the American education system, but he most certainly believes that children of color aren't getting a good understanding of science and technology. And he wants to be a part of the education system that we're building, that we're putting in place, so that he can help to educate black children across the board as it relates to science. And that's huge. And that's something that we are actively currently working on. So the idea is that we will not only be able to give our kids a strong foundation as it relates to a basic education, but we'll be able to add on to that those critical things that they currently don't get, which is the understanding of science, technology, engineering, math, and things of that nature. Again, which is a huge step forward. And by us being able to own and control the environment in which our children are being raised, we'll be able to give them things that they would normally not get coming from another system that's proven itself to be anti-them, anti-black, anti-brown, anti-poor. So we're not saying that the system as it currently exists is doing a good job and we simply want to compete with it. No, that's not what we're saying. We're saying the system is failing our children. And because we understand that it's failing our children because of the color of their skin, then we need to create a new system which ties into everything else that we're doing that's going to make them better, more productive citizens, both within the nation that we're building as well as the larger nation that we're a part of. And so that's one aspect of a new education system that we're creating. And the other aspect, which is critically important, is us educating our children to the importance of what it means to be black in America. African history is not taught in any meaningful way in America's public schools, and I understand why. Because if you teach African history from the African or black perspective, then it's not only going to make America look bad, as it should, but it's going to embolden, it's going to give pride, it's going to make that black child believes that he or she can accomplish anything they put their mind to. And the current system doesn't do that. So we want to bring aspects of our history, both as it relates to what we've accomplished here in this country, as well as the many things we did before we got here. Most people don't realize, most people don't know that before there was a word for Europe, African people had universities. Before the European Dark Ages, African people were in their 8th, 9th, 10th, and 12th dynasty, and the dynasty is 100 years of rule. So there are things that we've accomplished as a people before we got here that black people, not only black people, but black children in particular, have no idea as to who we are and what we've done. And if you empower children to understand that they are more than what they see on TV, that they are more than the movie that Hollywood puts out, that they are more than what the current school system tells them they are, then you have an opportunity to create a new black child with a new sense of purpose, a new sense of understanding, a new sense of what they can accomplish, and most importantly, after giving this child this kind of education, you will not only be able to pinpoint them to people who are alive today that are doing things, but you will be able to plug them into a system that they can not only better learn hands-on about what they're doing as it relates to building for themselves, but you'll be able to put them in an environment that to align them with programs and systems of people that are already doing things to make their future better. So we're talking about creating an education system for black children that really can take them from cradle to grave, and they never have to venture out into a system that's, again, proven itself to be anti-them, but on a larger scale, a system that oppresses, exploits, takes advantage of, and kills them in record numbers. So being able to properly educate not only black children, that's one aspect of it, both with a traditional education as far as just fundamental educating them to, you know, reading, writing, arithmetic, but also the education that say 99.9% of black children don't get, and most certainly most of us as black adults here in this country have never had, which is understanding of what it means to be black in America and our history and our culture, not only here, but the things we've accomplished before we got here. And that is simply a different system that operates on a different level. And that's one aspect, the children of the education system that we're creating. There's another aspect, which is the adults. Because as we teach black children about what it means to be black in America, reading, writing, and arithmetic, and their future and their role and their purpose and responsibility as we build this nation within a nation, you teach them that, but you also teach the adults the same thing. Because most of us as black adults in this country, we don't have an understanding of our history either. So we'll be able to give the kids that from day one moving forward, but we need to take as many black people that are open to learning, we need to educate them as well. So a part of that system is not just the children, but also us as adults, because we have a poor understanding or an inadequate understanding of what it means to be black in America, as well as our own history and our culture. And of course, all of this ties into Black Wall Street Revisited, which is us having communities that we can both own and control, so that we can take advantage of and protect those precious black bodies, black spirits, black minds moving forward for as many years as we can. So again, the importance of the education system as it relates to building our own stuff is that we can properly educate not only our children, but the adults as well. And another thing that's really going to be powerful with what we're doing is that we'll be able to bring all of those retired black teachers into a system where they can then continue to educate the children as they have been doing for so many years. A lot of black teachers retired and or otherwise have simply given up on trying to educate children because of the system. But if we put them in a system that's pro-education and pro the child, then we bring back expertise that is monumental as it relates to the numbers of people that will be willing to help, the love that they have for black children, and the expertise. So we don't necessarily have to wait on people who are coming out of college to employ them in the system. We can utilize retired talent and expertise that's already out there. So to make this kind of thing happen, to do what we're trying to do, you have to have leadership that's on the same page, and not just leadership in education. That's one element of what we're doing, but leadership in multiple areas across the board, and to identify, to vet, to nominate and elect that leadership across the board to build this nation within a nation. We have to have an election, and that's what we're doing. The Black Gold movement is going to have the first online black leadership election to elect different black people in multiple areas, to include education, to lead the black nation moving forward. So April 14th, 2018, we're going to have an online election, and my goal is to have 6 to 8 candidates per department. We've outlined 7 to 18 departments. Have those persons online so that the larger black community can see who these people are, They can read their bios, check out their books if they've written any, check out their videos if they have any. And really, and of course, we'll also be having interviews. Hopefully, we have a few debates, conversations. And by doing so, we'll be able to introduce the larger black nation, black community to different leadership in different areas across the board, to include education, which will allow them to not only see these people, to know that we are doing things in multiple areas across the board, but also allow us to support them in whatever they're doing across the board. So, for example, since we're talking about education, for example, let's say if there are 6 to 8 persons that have been identified by the community in which they have been working, have been doing things, have been educating children. They've been identified, nominated, vetted, and they are now candidates to run the education department for the Black Nation. And there are 8 of those persons. On April 14th of next year, if after you've done your due diligence, you've seen a few interviews, you've gone through all of their work as far as what they've accomplished, you vote on which person you think is the most qualified candidate to lead the education department as it relates to the Black Nation. Our goal for this first election is 200,000 black people who are ready, willing, and able to vote. And from this 200,000, we of course have all the other people who are supporters of each individual candidate, which is more people that will be voting. And the idea is that we want to create, we want to find the best of the best as it relates to each department, and those persons who don't win the election, we're going to ask them to support that department. So we are creating best of the best excellence in each area that's been outlined for leadership to build a nation within a nation. You go to the website blackgolddevalue.com, click on the election, you will see the different departments, you will see the process, and you'll have a better understanding of what we're trying to do and why we're trying to do it. So we want you to, starting right now, to go to the website, see what we're doing, and if you know anyone that you think will be a good candidate to lead the education department for the Black Nation moving forward, then we want you to contact that person, have a conversation with them, send them to the website, and nominate them for leadership. Because we need, as a people in this country, we need a lot of things. And we're not going to be able to get any of it if we don't have qualified leadership across the board that understands the ultimate goal, which is to rebuild Black Wall Street, not just in one area, but after we rebuild one, if we're not doing it simultaneously, we're going to duplicate that effort across the board in the top 100 cities where black people live, so that black people will have a physical, safe space to live, grow, and thrive in this country. And we're not going to be able to do that if we don't have leadership that's on the same page across the board. So your participation in this effort is it's a must do, it's must have, and it's not going to work if we don't have black people who are a part of what we're trying to do. Because as one person, I'm here in the Houston, Texas area. I'm one person. Of course, I know people, but I don't know everyone. So for those black persons who are in other areas, be it Seattle, Washington, or the Bronx, New York, or Charleston, South Carolina, or Alpharetta, Georgia, you know people in your area as well. Not just education, but in different areas that we've outlined on the website. So we're asking you to nominate people that you know who have proven themselves experienced, knowledgeable, caring, in that they're already doing things in these areas, or they've done things in these different areas. Because we don't have the luxury of bringing someone on board and then we have to train them in whatever area. That doesn't make any sense. We want people that are already doing things in those areas, that are willing to duplicate their efforts and roll them out nationwide. So we have an expert that's doing things in a big way as it relates to educating black children, not just traditionally, but in the black area as well. And this could very well be a department that's titled education, but there be a traditional education side as well as a quote-unquote black side that deals with black issues. So it could be a two-pronged department. We're still working on it. But either way, we were looking for candidates for that department. So of course we can develop an education system for black children moving forward. So go to the website blackgolddevalued.com, see the different departments. If you know someone, have a conversation with them, send them to the website, and we want you to nominate them for leadership of this, for not only this education department, but for the other departments as well. And if you know someone, great. If you know, fine. If you don't know someone, then speak to your friends as like-minded persons, so that they can help us find different people for these different departments. So with that, I'm going to close out this live stream. Again, my name is Tamani Mwandani. I am the author of the new book, Black Gold Devalued. I am a contributing member to the Black Gold movement. The website is blackgolddevalued.com. And we are ultimately looking, the bottom line to everything that we're doing is that we want to recreate Black Wall Street, which is a self-sufficient, self-contained community owned and ran by black people for black people. And we're not doing this because we're anti anyone else. It is most certainly not about that. We're doing this because A, we are pro-black. We care and love, we care about and love black people. And B, we understand that this system has proven itself to be anti-black, to be anti-African American, to be anti-African. And it has not done what it is supposed to do to ensure that we have a future worth living in this country. So I want to thank you for taking the time. Thank you, Sister April, for being online. Thank you, my sister-in-law, Julia, for joining the live stream. We want you to share this with as many people as you think should hear it, would love to hear it, want to be a part. And if you haven't already done so, we want you to give us your email address so that you'll be registered to vote in the upcoming election next April 14th. But also so that we can stay in touch with you as far as what we're doing as well. We want you to subscribe to both our Periscope station, our YouTube station, and our Facebook group, so that you can always be a part of what we're doing, and you know what we're doing, and we can plug you into everything, and you won't miss anything. So with that, I'm going to close out with two things. One is a statement that one of my mentors, Miss Ada Edwards, would close out her radio show by saying and that statement is, no one can do everything, but if everyone does something, then everything will get done. That's the first thing. And the second thing is always remember that nothing is more sacred than the liberation and salvation of black people. So thank you very much. Hopefully you are enjoying your Thanksgiving holiday. Maybe possibly saving some money with your Black Friday specials from black business owners, please. And you are having a good, relaxed weekend. So thank you very much. God bless you. And I will see you for the next live stream, which is this coming Tuesday at 12 o'clock Central Standard Time. So thank you very much. God bless you, and have a nice day and weekend. Take care. Bye-bye.